cause you to defy the odds. A few years after that, they sold the house for twice what they had built it for. And the wife told me something that I'll never forget. She said, Joel, my grandparents told me all we'd ever have were beans and rice, but I always knew one day we would have steak. And if you're going to see those blessings that are stored up for you, you have to do like her and take the limits off. Enlarge your vision. Don't let how you were raised, what was passed down, what somebody said, even mistakes you've made, convince you to settle for beans and rice, to live with the illness, to never be free from the depression, to always be lonely. You have to stir your faith up. Nothing wrong with beans and rice, but how about some enchiladas? How about some fajitas?
How about some pizza?
You have to make room for more.
Yeah, that pizza. How about some
We're all
pizza?
grateful for what God has done. We're content in every situation, but that doesn't mean you're supposed to be satisfied. If you quit stretching, believing,
So we did church Sunday about a little bit of faith.
something other people would never believe could happen, that's what faith is. It's capacity.
Faith.
It's saying, God, I'm open. I know you have greater things in store. There was a lady in the scripture that was a widow. Her husband was a prophet, but he had passed. And now she and her two sons were living together. She was so in debt, the creditors were coming to take her sons as payment. She came to the prophet Elisha. It's a friend of the family. She told him the problem. He asked her what she had in her house. She said nothing at all except a small jar of oil. Elisha told her to go to her friends and neighbors and borrow as many empty vessels, large pots, as she could find. One version says, borrow not a few. She could have thought, Elisha, what good is that going to do? I need funds. I need provisions. I don't need empty pots. Sometimes God will ask you to do things that don't make sense. But obedience creates capacity. Do what he's asking you to do, even when you don't understand it, even when it's a hard thing. God may ask you to apologize when you know it was the other person's fault. You know they were wrong, but God's asking you to be the bigger person. You can't always see what he's doing, but you can be sure your obedience is making room for a blessing. Forgiving those that hurt you is never easy. It doesn't seem fair, but holding on to the hurt is taking up space for God to pay you back. When you let it go, there's room for him to make it up to you. God will do it better than you ever could. This widow went out knocking on the neighbor's door, asking to borrow empty pots. Think about how foolish she looked. You can hear people talking, gossiping. Did that crazy lady come by your house asking for an empty jar? What's wrong with her? People may not understand you. They may think you're far out. Why do you live a holy life? Why don't you party with us? Don't worry about what people think. Be concerned about what God thinks.